well, rather than just call it quits like that, we have to stop and get something in the way of local cuisine, if you want to call it that. It is a food truck, but it's still something that they only do here, so might as well try it. The couple that we met earlier on in this cruise at one of our tables at some point was telling us that there's not a whole lot here in Sydney, and that's why we weren't expecting much. But they did suggest to try out a beaver tail. So this place over here is selling them right next to the Big Fiddle, and what better place to try it?
All right, so this is what we're getting is a couple of beaver tails and an order of poutine. Definitely not something we can find back at home.
No, they specify these are not real beaver tails, but you probably already knew that. It's a pastry, and they cover it with various things. Mostly sweet stuff, but they also offered to serve a hot dog in one of these things, which probably means that in order to have them sweetened, they just cover them with various toppings. Daniel's has hazelnut spread on it, and mine has a little bit of chocolate sauce, but mostly maple, I understand. So, and as for the poutine, I asked what kind of cheese it was that they had, and they actually couldn't tell me. They said it was from Quebec, so it's real cheese curds, but I'm like, as close as we are to Wisconsin, you know, you can be a little more specific than that. We have white cheddar and orange cheddar and all those other sorts. The package that she had didn't specify. She thinks it's mozzarella, which means there's probably not quite as much cheese flavor to it, but it will give it a little bit of pull with the heat of the fries and the gravy. So see how that goes. I've asked Daniel to fetch a second fork so that we can both enjoy this, because they only gave us one. So we're gonna start in. And whoop. These stick together a little bit. The gravy is like even. Interesting that there's a lot of cheese on the one side and there's a lot of gravy on the other. It doesn't actually, I assumed that they'd put one on top of the other or something like that, but I will say it's a fairly basic brown gravy. Maybe you like beef, maybe you like onion, I'm not entirely sure. It's okay. Let's try and get something with cheese in there too. The gal manning the food truck seemed to almost take offense at my saying that it was cheddar, but quite honestly, it's got more flavor than a mozzarella ball would. There's something sharp about it. So I don't think she's right about calling it mozzarella. And I wouldn't think that would be a very good idea, other than the fact that it would give it a little bit more cheese pull. But there's a sharpness to the cheese that suggests cheddar, but if the Quebecois have something else, I'd appreciate somebody to tell me in the comments. It is pretty good, but I hate to imagine this being. I hate the fact that the whole thing is probably about half a day's calories for one person, so gotta go light on it. It occurs to us that the proprietor's insistence on talking about it as being genuine Quebec cheese curds, while still not knowing what kind of cheese it is, like, there's this realization that not everybody knows what cheese curds are. Whereas that's a fairly run-of-the-mill kind of thing for us, being that we live so close to Wisconsin. For a while there, we couldn't get cheese curds into Illinois because of, I guess, some kind of health restriction. Nowadays, it's not such a big deal, but still, There's only so far you can go with those, I guess. So there are places that don't even know what cheese curds are. You have to have that explained to them.
Tagline suggests that messy is good, and I suppose they're right to a certain extent.
But I will say that once the napkin is covered in gravy to begin with, it kind of loses the effect. You've got to be able to clean the mess at some point, after all.
Anyway, let's try these pastries before the napkins blow away. You take a bite and let me know what you think of it, son. Any comments you might have on it, or? Thoughts? Well, at least he likes it, I guess.
For what it's worth, his is basically a hazelnut spread with a little bit of, is that sugar additional or is that vanilla on top? No. Whereas mine is supposedly with maple and I guess a drizzle of chocolate sauce as well. Okay. It is about the consistency of a funnel cake, except it's all flat. Rather than having been drizzled out into the oil, just baked as it is, or maybe fried. So it's like a very large squaw bread. As for the maple, and maybe it's because I'm coming at it from one side or another, it's actually rather subtle. Then again, here's a bite into the center a little bit more. Okay, oh wow, yeah. It's like, oh wow, that texture is like, it's like maple butter being spread on it in the middle, but then covered with grains of, it looks like brown sugar, but it might just be crystallized maple. And I really don't taste the, I don't taste the chocolate so much. I'm sure it is chocolate, but it almost just gives a little bit more sweetness to it rather than just announcing its presence as being chocolate. It is mostly just sweet with the maple notes drowning out the chocolate. It's pretty good. It's not something I would necessarily seek out other than the fact that we're in a place where you can find it. And they claimed it to be their signature dish, as it were. But oh no, it's not bad. Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. That is intense. You get it right in the middle and it's just like piled up in there. That is, wow, okay. You're agreeing too. You've just got, everything's kind of slathered all over. It looks even until you start eating it, and then it's just like everything is piled up right in the center. And oh boy, that's really something else. Again, good, but it probably doesn't help in the fog and the mist, because it just kind of makes this a little soggy rather than crisp. And it also seems to be thinner in the middle than on the edges. So you get less pastry, at the same time you're getting more topping. So there's that. All in all, a tasty little snack. I don't even want to think about the calories. Yeah, no. But it's not bad. It feels like carnival food, honestly. And considering that we're coming to the end of the summer and the end of carnival season, there's something appropriate about that. So, anyway, that's it for today. We're going to be heading back to the ship soon enough. And until then, keep an eye on us and wish us luck. We'll probably need it.